journal. Now, details are sketchy on exactly how that's going to work, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't quite understand the entire gist of it. I don't know if it's a manual journal where you can write in it yourself, but what I do know is that the game will write some of the details to a log file stored locally, and this log file could then be read by third-party apps, and Frontier has already contacted a bunch of app developers already. So the idea would be that perhaps the app would be able to scrape local market data, for example, giving you a log of transaction history. And of course it could also be used for your location, which would give you a history and a log of all these systems that you've visited, along with places you've discovered. All of this is something that's long been asked for, and apparently it's going to be a part of patch 2.2. Now, talking of patch 2.2, a couple of other questions did come up. One was about station interiors. The questioner asked Frontier, what about all of these station interiors? No matter where you go, they all look the same. To which Michael Brooks looked a little bit slyly and said, wait for Gamescom. Now, that answer, like all the others, is very ambiguous at best, and people have taken to interpret it in slightly different ways. A few people have assumed that perhaps it means we'd get the ability to walk around station interiors sooner rather than later, and that maybe at Gamescom we'd get a glimpse of this. A more wider interpretation, and one that I personally agree with, is that quite likely we're going to start seeing station variations. So maybe a variety of station interiors based upon the economy type or the government type, or perhaps even different station interiors based on whether they belong to the Alliance, the Empire or the Federation. And there is another theory, a little bit out the left field that suggests that we could perhaps be seeing alien stations, which of course would give us another different type of station interior. Now, regardless of what this does actually mean, we do know from past experience that so far the updates in Season 2, patch 2.1 for example, delivered a whole bunch of graphical upgrades, so I imagine that this will continue on throughout the rest of Season 2. Another point that came up during the Q&A panel was the question of the summoning ships. That's the ability to get ships that may be stored in another station a long way from you to be transported to you. It was very clear to me that Sandra Samarco actually wanted to say a lot on this particular subject, but ultimately said that. And this, it was very obvious that something on this is going to be coming very soon, and I fully expect it to be part of patch 2.2 as well. How it exactly work, we don't know, and it's also open potentially to abuse. No doubt as well, summoning ships would have quite an extensive timer on them. Toward the end of last week, it started to become increasingly obvious that both the Empire and the Federation are heading towards war. Adding to in-game events, it was also confirmed that it's happening by Michael Brooks in an interview he had with PC Powerplay. And of course, adding to this, events are continuing to unfold that suggest the imminent arrival of aliens, at least in the form of crashed shipwrecks. Now, streamer and ambassador to Elite Crash said recently that he has worked out how to locate the alien points of interest, ones that contain crashed alien ships. Now, he didn't reveal any more details. I don't know if he's actually gone ahead and discovered one of them himself, but either way, he didn't post any screenshots or video of it. He simply said that he knows they're in the game, he's actually worked out where they are, but wanted the community to find them before he started discussing or revealing too much more. Now, from some people, his claims have been met with a degree of skepticism, but Crash has been long associated with Elite Dangerous, and he's pretty much the first big streamer for the game, and has ties with Frontier themselves. So personally, I trust more or less anything he says on this. And I fully suspect that we're going to be seeing crashed alien ships within a couple of weeks now. Hopefully though, this will ultimately lead to more than just one more site for players to visit. We need new gameplay mechanics to come with it, so hopefully it's not going to be too drawn out. The organisers of the Distant Worlds expedition, Eramis and all the rest, have returned with a new event. This one is called the August Exodus, and it's aimed at getting as many people as possible out to Shack Station. Now, as mentioned earlier, Shack Station is 22,000 light years away. That's quite a trek for many people, and if you're on your own, it can be quite a long and lonely trek. So the idea here is to get together a massive group of players a whole fleet that will be able to depart towards Jacques Station and head there en masse. Now there's going to be two separate fleets, both departing at separate times. The first fleet will depart on the 31st of July and the second fleet will depart on the 15th of August. The planned trip is expected to take around 2 weeks, and unlike the Distant Worlds expedition, there's also a return trip planned. So if you fancy to go out to Jacques Station and don't want to go alone, this could be the perfect opportunity for you. As you can see on the image here, a whole bunch of interesting waypoints have been planned along the way. So I can highly recommend this. If it's anything like Distant Worlds, then it will be an excellent tour. And who knows, you may actually want to stay out in Jacques Station and be one of the pioneers to build a new colony of civilization out there. Talking of expeditions, there is another new expedition, the Galactic Nebula Expedition. Now this one is a successor to the rather exceptional and rather successful Crab Nebula Expedition. It's being posted about by T-Rex on the Frontier forums, and the mission statement here is to scout and catalogue the surrounding systems along each main waypoint towards the core, and to formally name within the game all the nebula along the route, as well as to further strengthen the exploration community with an Elite Dangerous and to have fun, of course. Now, I think it's absolutely great to see continued support from the community of exploration. Exploration is a wonderful thing, and whilst there's not a huge amount of game mechanics around it, the galaxy really is truly wonderfully to explore. Now, Frontier, of course, are starting to pay a lot of attention to all of this because there's a lot of different community-based exploration events going on in the game. So Frontier are clearly starting to take both exploration and colonization very seriously, and we can guess that based purely on the things that are happening in the game. Not to mention that Sandra Samarco has also confirmed that there's a bunch of new exploration stuff coming up in the future. For both the August Exodus and the Galactic Nebula Expedition, you can see more in the video description below. Now today I've got an absolutely stunning video recommendation for you. This video is by Space Bear and it's called The Journey Starts Here. It's basically a tour of many areas of the galaxy, accompanied by some absolutely fantastic visuals and an absolutely gorgeous soundtrack. Highly recommend it. You can see some clips playing in the background here, but to get the full effect, do go and check out the link. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. And whilst we're on recommendations, why not check out the stream of Crash Landing. Crash streams regularly on Twitch on Friday between 8 and 10 UK time, sometimes later, and you can see his stream archive on YouTube as well. So for links to both of these, do have a look in the video description. That then brings us to the end of this episode. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys and girls next time.
In a video game, it's easy to tell who the villain is.
For most people, the closest way to one of these political conventions is to watch them on TV. But I had the chance to go down to Cleveland this week and actually meet the delegates who nominated Donald Trump. I gotta say, they're good people who deserve a better candidate, and we had a blast. Take a look.
This week, I attended the RNC's official welcome party. It was a very exclusive affair. Only 12,000 people were invited.
Did you originally support Donald Trump?
Well, as far as I know, I'm a delegate for Donald Trump.
Was he your first choice?
No.
Was he your first choice?
No.
And did you support him from the beginning?
No.
Which choice was Donald Trump for you?
Okay, there are way too many candidates in the field, so...
Just tell me one, just tell me one.
Okay. About there.
Okay, 7. Anyone around here was an original Trump supporter?
Yes.
What if somehow Ronald Reagan just showed up on the floor of the convention right now? Would you still go with Trump, or would you go with reanimated Reagan?
No, because he's kind of similar in ways.
So you'd still go with Trump?
I would.
If Reagan came back
And I love
from
Reagan.
the afterlife, I understand, came back from the afterlife,
Right.
and he said, I am here to save America, you'd still say, thank you very much, but I'm going with Donald?
Today, we need a change in this country.
Even if it was rigged, and you understand, he's come
Yeah.
back from heaven.
No,
He's come back from
heaven.
heaven. And he's made the sacrifice of coming back here and for being
No, I gotta
with
go
the Lord.
I've got to go with the
You still got to go with Donald Trump. How do you think he would feel? How do you think Reagan would feel if he said, I came, really? He says, I came all the way back from heaven here, and you would still want to go with Donald Trump?
I do.
Wow.
Then it was time to play the game show Sweeping the Nation. What's your name, sir?
Paul.
Paul, where are you from?
Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
Oh, it's a beautiful town. I've been there many times. All right, here we go. Ready? Paul, are you a delegate?
Yes, I am.
Are you supporting Mr. Trump?
I am.
All right. You didn't seem that confident about it. You had to think for a second.
This is my first choice.
He wasn't your first choice. He was not?
Scott Walker.
Scott Walker was your first choice. He dropped out, I think, back in the Carter administration. All right. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. This is question number one.
Okay.
Did or did not the nominee of your party say the following? My fingers are long and beautiful. It has been well documented are various other parts of my body.
False.
It is Trump. I'm sorry, you have been eliminated for Trump or false. Thank you so much for playing. Your candidate did talk about his penis. Are you nervous?
No, I'm
You're on
okay.
national television. Millions of people are watching you
yeah.
to find out whether you know what your candidate did or did not say. Are you nervous
I'm
at
ready,
all?
man. No, I'm not.
You're not nervous? Okay, you're a good man. All right, let's do it. All right. You gotta play. You gotta play. Trump or false? We gave $140 million to Guatemala last year. If Guatemala is so poor, why are there fat ones? Trump! False! I'm sorry, you do not win Trump or false, but you can have your hat back. Thank you for playing. Did Donald Trump say or not say, I went to an Ivy League school, I'm very highly educated, I know words, I have the best words? Trump or false?
False.
It is Trump. Sorry. Thank you so much for playing. Have you been a Trump delegate from the very beginning? No. I want somebody to win. I got prizes here. We got prizes. Trump or false? Trump or false? I have great kids. They're super people, smart, attractive, smell good. I won the kid lottery. Trump or false?
False.
False. He did not say it. What do we have? We have baby shoes. Trump or false? It doesn't really matter what the media write as long as you've got a young and beautiful piece of ass.
I don't think he said that.
Trump! He said it. Come on. It did. He said it. I'm not making this stuff up. Legally, I can't. I'm on television. Hey, man. Trump or false? I can dunk a basketball. Very few people know that, but it is absolutely true. Trump or false?
I'll say true.
False. He cannot dunk a basketball. I'm so sorry, but you know what? I know the feeling because it seems like he can do anything.
And I really believe that he can dunk a basketball. He may not be black, but he can dunk a basketball.
He's deeply tanned, though. The GOP is going to make you. Trump, Trump. Mike Pence is going to make you. Trump, Trump. Trump or false? Okay. I named my dog Megyn Kelly because she's stupid and bad at her job.
That has to be false.
It is false. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
All right, what do we got here? A box. I got you a box of Trojans. There you go. Have a great week. Thank you for playing. But of course, tonight was really all about vice presidential candidate Mike Pence. What year is it? Okay. Pence, in his speech, wasted no time praising Donald.
He's a man known for a large personality, a colorful style, and lots of charisma. And so I guess he was just looking for some balance on the ticket.
Yes. Yes. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. Adding Pence
ticket, Crazy Boring 2016. But as a family values conservative, Pence had one warning.
History teaches us that weakness arouses evil.
Yes. Weakness arouses evil. And America must be strong or we will be surrounded by evil boners. You know? And Pence... Weakness is the Viagra of evil. And then Pence laid out his credentials.
I'm a Christian, a conservative, and a Republican in that order.
Yes, in that order. Fourth, I'm a list maker. Fifth, I'm a guy who looks like he forgot to be an astronaut. And sixth, I'm a tackling dummy in a suit. Bring it out here. Here we are. Thank you for being here, sir. We learned a lot about Pence's background, his family, his accomplishments, and beliefs. No question was left unanswered except for one. Who's Mike Pence again? Well, I'll tell you, folks. Governor Mike Pence was born in Columbus, Indiana, one morning when I believe lightning struck a jar of mayonnaise. I'm being upstaged. I'm being upstaged by an inanimate object over there. I can't have that. As a child, Pence was an overachiever who was once even awarded a trophy for Best Denim Jumpsuit. And Pence will be a great vice president because he's always had big ideas. For instance, in 2001, he wrote an op-ed saying, despite the hysteria from the political class and the media, smoking doesn't kill. Why? Because 2 out of every 3 smokers does not die from a smoking-related illness. It's true. No, it's true. Smoking doesn't kill you if you don't count the people who died from smoking. Just 33%. But it's not just smoking. It's not just smoking, folks. Pence had his eye on another issue of national importance, the movie Mulan. In 1999, he penned another op-ed claiming the film was too political, saying, quote, some mischievous liberal at Disney assumes that Mulan's story will cause a quiet change in the next generation's attitude about women in combat. Oh, he's right. No, it's subtle brainwashing. The same way Disney is known for promoting human-animal hybrids, plural marriage, and bestiality. Be our guest, be our guest. Why, I don't know why. In 2015, Pence ignited a furor when he signed Indiana's Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which allowed businesses to discriminate against LGBT patrons, but he was just following the old saying, the customer's always straight. Now, a lot of people are out there saying, I don't care about Mike Pence, including Donald Trump. But if Trump and Pence win, you will care about Pence because there is huge vice presidential news just out today. You see, when Trump was vetting Ohio Governor John Kasich as a possible running mate, his son, Donald Trump Jr., asked Governor Kasich, did he have any interest in being the most powerful vice president in history? Which is saying something, since we've already had a vice president that was half machine and got away with shooting people in the face. Apparently, when Kasich's advisor asked how this would be the case, Donald Jr. explained that his father's vice president would be in charge of domestic and foreign policy. Then what, the advisor asked, would Trump be in charge of? Making America great again. Now, I know a lot of people, a lot of you out there think Trump isn't qualified to be president. Well, isn't it comforting to know that Donald Trump agrees with you? Please welcome the star of Billy on the Street and Difficult People, Billy Eichner.
Thank you. Hey, guys. Oh, what a night.
Happy convention.
Thank you. I just met Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, isn't she lovely?
I love her.
Yeah, have you met her before?
No, where would I meet her? Tinder? I mean,
I
I met her.
Which way would you sweep? Which way would you sweep?
well, you know, I'm gay, so, I don't think it's going to be a match.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I know.
But you never know.
You might be gay for her political ideals.
I
You know, you
am
might
gay
be-
for Elizabeth's ideas, yes.
Yeah. What about
Thank
her for
you.
VP? What about her? Do you excite her if Hillary Clinton picked her as vice president?
I would love that. I'd love Elizabeth Warren to be vice president. I'd love her to be anything. I'd love her to be a female Ghostbuster. I mean, right?
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
She's our Rick Moranis, I think. That's right. And by the way, why isn't there one candidate talking about what happened to Rick Moranis? I'm the only one.
All right. We'll find out. We'll get back to you on
Yes,
that.
I love Elizabeth Warren. I've been following the convention.
So have you enjoyed watching it this week?
Enjoy.
You're
I
a
don't
pop
know.
culture guy.
I'm a pop culture guy, but Donald Trump is show business.
That's true.
You know, he's a pop culture guy too. I'm terrified. I'm terrified, but I really am. I'm terrified by the idea of a Trump presidency. And it's not only just the policies, it's also the other things they have to do now. There is no way I will survive Mike Pence doing carpool karaoke. I mean, what song are they gonna sing? I deported your grandmother? I mean, I don't like that Pence. And what is Melania Trump gonna talk about with Karen Pence, by the way? That's some opposite side of the track, meet the Fockers craziness that I don't know, and I don't want to know.
Have you met Mr. Trump or Melania or the Pences or
I
anything
have
like that?
never met Melania.
You're judging them without meeting.
Well, I feel I can do that. Yes, I feel like
Because of what you do for a living?
Well,
or
here's
just
why
because
I
of
can
what
do
they're-
that. And I don't know if this is serious, but, they talked about LGBT stuff tonight, which is very nice.
Yeah, they're more inclusive than normal.
Trump is a little gay-friendlier than the average Republican, I guess, except for the fact that he chose a running mate in Mike Pence, who is a supporter of conversion therapy.
Now, what is that?
Well, conversion therapy, let me explain what conversion therapy is, ladies and gentlemen. This is when you believe that through some sort of therapy, you can cure a gay person and turn them into a straight person. So here's my idea. I have asked on my show who's hotter, Barack Obama or Abraham Lincoln. I usually say Barack Obama, but I actually now want to have a three-way with Mike and Karen Pence. Because if you can convert me, I want to see you try. Bring it on, Karen Pence. Yes.
Can I, in case that happens, could I have the exclusive broadcast rights of that?
I don't know if you want it. I don't know if you want
Sure, it'll be pay-per-view, obviously.
it. On demand.
What about the celebrities you've seen at the RNC?
What a lineup. I mean, Antonio Sabato Jr., who was screaming about Jesus, and underneath on the chyron it said, appeared on Dancing with the Stars. That actually happened. Antonio Sabato Jr., Scott Baio. I don't know who Hillary Clinton's going to bring out to top it. She's going to need, Sybil Shepherd, Ricky Lake, the cast of Designing Women. I mean, I don't know how you top this, Stephen.
I'd watch that.
I would watch it
that
too.
I love Designing
I'd watch
Women.
it with Karen and Mike Pence.
Afterwards, for the pillow talk?
I'm gay, so during. Designing Women during. Yes. That's the only thing that's going to get me through it.
That's
Stephen.
Viagra for you, Designing
Yes.
Women?
Yes.
Delta Burke?
Delta Burke makes me, I can't say it. We're live.
We're live.
Guys, it's so late. His speech was so long. I looked it up. It was 74 minutes. It was literally longer than Finding Dory and with half the nuance.
Nicely done. Congratulations, second season of Difficult People.
Yes,
is
Difficult
coming out.
People on Hulu.
Yes.
Everyone should watch it. Thank
Yes.
you. Amy Poehler produces it. Me and my friend Julie, we play best friends who hate everyone except each other. I'm gay, she's a girl. We hate everyone who's more successful. That sums it up. Yeah. No, we like to describe it as Will and Grace if the two leads were very unlikable. And I think Mike Pence would love that show.
A lot of celebrities.
actually.
That whole thing is you deal with celebrities all the time.
Yeah, we talk about celebrities. We have a lot of guest stars. Tina Fey, Julianne Moore, Joel McHale, Nathan Lane, Method Man. What was that?
next guest tonight is a United States Senator who has been dogging Donald Trump for months now on Twitter. Please welcome Senator Elizabeth Warren. Nice to have you on again.
Good to be here.
You're always a bit of a firebrand, and I know you've got a lot of opinions about Donald Trump. Did you watch the convention this week?
Yes.
Okay. Give me an overall impression of the message of the Republicans this week.
I thought it was the nastiest, most divisive convention that we've seen in half a century. And
Well, do you think that that's their fault, or whether they are expressing a genuine anger out there in the world?
So,
Because it's easy to say, like, oh, there are people being angry, and I noticed that too, but aren't people angry? Isn't that why Bernie did so well?
look, people are angry, and people have good reasons to be angry. Incomes are flat, expenses are up, young people can't make it through college without getting crushed by debt, seniors can't stretch a Social Security check to cover food and rent. There are a lot of reasons to be angry, but let's be really, really clear. Donald Trump does not have the answers.
He says, let's talk about the speech. Let's talk about this speech tonight. Okay, where are not the answers? He said people have pushed you around. I'm here to push back. What is wrong with that message?
Are you kidding me?
No.
I mean, so here's the problem. Every time you kind of scratch the surface a little bit and see what Donald Trump's really talking about, what he's really talking about is what he's talked about all his life, and that is how to improve the world for Donald Trump. So I heard the part about, he talks about taxes. He's like, our biggest tax cut. That's right, I'm the only guy who want to do tax cuts. What he just failed to mention is that Donald Trump would get about a $1.3 million tax cut out of that deal. He just takes care of Donald Trump first, last, and that's what he's about.
He's paying for his own campaign, though. We should get a little something back. Get a little something back. Well, he said that the system is rigged, and that was kind of Bernie's message too. The system is rigged. So if they both sort of believe the same thing, if that message is appealing to both of their followers, why don't you think Bernie's followers would go over to Donald Trump? Because again, you may say scratching an itch, but politics is emotional. And if you can emotionally appeal to those people, why wouldn't they go over there if there's somebody who thinks they can change things? Because one thing you'll say about Hillary Clinton, she's a Washington insider. Okay, yeah, she is.
But look,
She's lived there since Joshua fit the Battle of Jericho.
So look, you raised the question about the game being rigged, and the game is rigged. I mean, it fundamentally is.
You've said the same thing yourself many times.
That's exactly right. Washington works for those who can hire armies of lobbyists, armies of lawyers. It works for billionaires like Donald Trump. For the rest of America, it's not working so well. So one answer, the Democrats' answer, is to say, we got to use our voices, we got to use our votes, we got to take back government and make it work for all of us. That's basically what we think is the right thing to do.
That sounds a lot like what he said tonight, though.
What Donald Trump says is there's a problem out there, and what you have to understand is that it's all about each other. What you need to be afraid of is every other American. I gotta tell you, that speech tonight, he sounded like some two-bit dictator of some country that you couldn't find on a map.
Listen,
No,
I want to defend
listen.
him for a second here. He's not a two-bit dictator. He sounded like a billionaire dictator. 2 bits, insulting to the man.
He sounded like a dictator of a small country rather than a man who is running for the highest office of the strongest democracy on the face of this earth. That's what he sounded like.
I want to hear what we have to say. We got to go to commercial to serve our corporate overlords, but we'll be right back with more Elizabeth Warren. Stick around. She is the author of A Fighting Chance, the New York Times bestseller, now available in paperback. Okay, let's talk about fighting chance. The Democrats, Hillary Clinton, is going to be fighting Donald Trump for the presidency. Do you think the Democrats are underestimating Donald Trump?
Yes. I think everyone is underestimating Donald Trump. He is one dangerous man, and we need to take him really seriously. Take him out now.
Okay. So you're down next week. The DNC, the Democratic National Convention, is in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Are you gonna be there?
Yep, I'll be there. I'll be speaking.
What night are you speaking?
First night.
Can you give me some indication of what you're going to say so we can start writing the jokes now? Because I'm going to make fun of what you say.
Right.
Legally, I have to.
Right.
Okay, just give me something good, yeah?
Donald Trump is a bad guy. I'm going with that.
You've said that several times before. Matter of fact, you're a tweet storm. Here, you said your policies are dangerous, your words are reckless, your record is embarrassing, and the free ride is over.
Yeah.
You've said at Donald Trump and at Mike Pence, you are a perfect match. Two small, insecure, weak men who use hate and fear to divide our country and our people. And Donald Trump, you're nothing but a thin-skinned bully. Are you a bully? Are you bullying him here? Aren't you stooping to his level?
Are you kidding?
I mean, Marco Rubio.
Oh, that poor little billionaire. Did I hurt his feelings by talking about his policies that he doesn't have? I mean, come on, give me a break here. This is a guy who just went on national television and said basically to all of America, be afraid of each other. And you listen to a speech like that, and I don't know how there's anybody left in America who isn't afraid of Donald Trump.
No, well, some people are afraid. Some people are afraid because their life is not what they expect it to be, or they feel like things are being taken from them. So people have legitimate feelings. How are the Democrats addressing that? Hillary Clinton's message is, he says, I'm with you, I'll fight for you, I'll win for you. What is the message going to be next week at the DNC?
So I think what the Democrats are going to talk about is how we're stronger together. What Donald Trump says is turn on each other. And the consequence of that one is when you turn on each other, the same guys who are in power, the same guys who rigged the system get to stay in power.
Here, let me ask you something about Hillary Clinton and what sort of her political character is. Because people say, oh, Donald Trump may not be telling the truth, but I don't care because I like the way he says it. Hillary Clinton is not forgiven for what people perceive of as lies that she is told, even though her husband was forgiven endlessly for the lies that we know he told. Why do you think she cannot gain the trust of people the way, say, a male candidate can?
So look,
that's called leading the witness.
Leading the witness. And actually, I'm not going to go where you think. What I'm really going to go with is she's been under attack for 25 years. And a lot of folks just would have, they just hung up their spurs. They said, I'm not going to do this anymore. But she started in, she fought for women, she fought for children, she fought for health care, she fought for human rights. And she just keeps getting up and fighting for it again. And I just got to say, I like women who fight back.
Could this be the ticket? Is there a chance? You've already got matching outfits. Maybe next week. Senator, thank you so much for being here. Senator Elizabeth Warren, everybody. We'll be right back.
Fuel scooping. Frameshift drive charging.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 6th.
What just happened?
I mean,
what just happened? I don't get it. It's interesting.
They're the evil one with all the evil plans who's always being all evil.
Say whatever you please. Die, you worm!
Right, like that. But sometimes when you really think about it, someone presented as a bad guy turns out to have a pretty good point after all, actually. Here are 7 video game villains who had a good point now that we think about it. Oh, and beware spoilers for the following games.
Imagine trying to run a small business in the city where Streets of Rage takes place. The city is ruled with an iron fist by an evil crime syndicate, the streets are overrun by punks, and there's a terrible t-shirt shortage that means everyone is going around topless. That's the situation Barbon, first boss of Streets of Rage 2, finds himself in. Barbon owns a bar, see? Nice place with exposed brickwork, hardwood floors, a couple of classy pool tables. It's not much, but it's all he has. So when a giant pro wrestler, or a woman in a pleather miniskirt, or a rollerblading child, or Cody from Final Fight walk in the front door and start smashing up all his furniture, beating up his clientele and stealing his takings, I think he's entitled to be pissed. Thing is, Barbon does exactly the right thing. He leaves the bar out the back entrance, trying to avoid confrontation, hoping that the lawless vigilantes trashing his bar will just take his apples and sacks of money with dollar signs on the side and just leave. It's only once they follow him and corner him in an alley that he fights back. What else was he going to do? Call the police? I think it's pretty obvious that in the world of Streets of Rage, the way the police deals with the problem is firing a bazooka at it from 3 blocks away. And they made him tear his best waistcoat. Not cool, guys.
What are you doing here? The war room is no place for a child. Leave now.
I'm here to stop you. You can't kill those people.
In Fable 3, you don't exactly start off on the right foot with your brother King Logan. Within moments of the start of the game, Logan forces you to choose between the execution of your childhood friend / sweetheart or a rabble of innocent peasants.
I will give you a choice. Who will be punished? These strangers or this girl? The sentence will be death.
It turns out this is just a taster of his generally tyrannical rule that includes high taxes, child labour and straight-up slavery. All crimes that pale in comparison to that facial hair. It's a face, not a bikini line.
Enough! How dare you turn against me?
So yes, Logan is a git, but what you don't realise is the reason he's so hard on the people of Albion is that this is a war economy. As king, Logan is desperately trying to build an army to defend Albion from this charming fellow.
The light you bring will die. The light inside you will die.
The Crawler, as he's known, is coming whether you like it or not, and even when you usurp Logan halfway through the game, if you want to pay for the same army he was saving for, you're going to have to make some dickish decisions, break some promises to your people, and give up your own giant spoon to that money room.
So tell me, what are you willing to sacrifice to do the right thing?
Remind me why I wanted to be queen again? Was it the cool hat? I need to stop making decisions to become things based on how cool a hat you get. So yes, in hindsight, given the choice between the Crawler or King Logan being in charge, we'd vote for Logan 2016.
The sacrifices I had to make, I did them to protect Albion.
Taxes are higher, but at least you're not in danger of being consumed by the creeping darkness. Can't argue with that as a political platform.
There's nothing left. You're gone. All gone.
Tell you what, I'll turn myself in as soon as you do the same. You don't consider yourself a criminal, do you? Suits, gadgets, the sense of entitlement. Just another rich kid atoning for his fiscal sins.
Gotham City is fantastically, spectacularly corrupt. If there were a corruption Olympics, Gotham would get the gold, or it would just bribe and threaten the IOC officials until it got the gold regardless. So, political activist Lonnie Machin, aka Anarchy, felt he had to do something. To that end, he planted bombs in 3 of Gotham's most corrupt institutions. The Merchant Bank, which was owned by Black Mask and used for money laundering, the Gotham Casino, which swindled Gotham citizens out of their hard-earned money, and the GCPD, full of corrupt cops on the take who control Gotham's streets through fear and intimidation. Okay, now just to be absolutely clear, we're not condoning planting bombs anywhere. Clearly, Anarchy went too far on that point, and violence is never the answer. And he even realizes that.
There's a way to make this work. To show you that we share the same goals. Maybe I took things too far with bombs and the threats. I can learn from that.
But his point remains valid even if his methods aren't. Gotham is massively corrupt and something needs to be done. Something more lasting than Gotham's richest man dressing up as a bat and punching muggers with electric gloves that cost more money than the same criminals will ever make in their entire criminal careers. But Batman isn't interested in long-term solutions. Anarchy even offers to team up with the Batman, giving Bruce the chance to channel his energies into something more positive.
I'd like to propose an alliance. I think the two two of us could accomplish great things together.
See if you can guess what Batman's response is. In fact, Batman seems really keen on Anarchy going to prison when he's fine with, say, Catwoman flipping around Gotham like she owns the place. Wonder what that's about.
I think you're so busy playing hero, you've forgotten what it's like for the rest of us.
I mean, wow, that's actually a really good point, Anarchy.
You didn't take me down because I broke the law. No, you took me down because you don't want the competition. That's what this is really about, isn't it? Let me ask you something. You ever wonder if you're the reason the city's so messed up?
Deploy bat earplugs. I'm not listening. La 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 la.
What is it the Templars truly seek?
Order. Purpose. Direction. No more than that.
We spent years hating those dreadful Templars, and then Haytham Kenway came along in Assassin's Creed 3, which was the first to make us think, hey, maybe these guys have a point. That's partly because we spent the first 10 hours of the game playing as Haytham, seeing things from his perspective and furthering his cause, before we found out we were doing odd jobs for the guys who, up until now, were the series' bad guys. But why let a few power-crazy dictators ruin it for the rest of them? Old Hayth just wants peace, and he reckons the best way to do it is with a few rules and regulations. Otherwise, what do you have? Thunderdome. That's what. That said, we're not keen on some of his methods, and he takes full advantage of the fact that it would be another 170 years or so until the Geneva Convention was drawn up.
I've told you everything. Now let me go.
Of course.
Also, Haytham introduced mustachio jerk Charles Lee into the Templar Order, a man who stood directly in the way of American independence.
I'll burn that homestead of yours to the ground and roast the severed heads of your precious founding fathers in its flames.
But ask yourself this, would British rule really have been that bad? Just think of all the fun you could have had being terribly sorry about everything. No? Well, you're welcome back anytime.
To summarize, change is good. Embrace it. Your king is alive. Rejoice. And Yuma stands like a sentinel, waiting. Bring it on.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Are they really going to argue that Pagan Min had some good points?
One fucking job, but you couldn't fucking do that!
That Pagan Min. The one who's always stabbing people.
Find out what he knows.
Yes, well, while it is clear that Pagan Min is a violent, tyrannical maniac, as ever, context is key. Before Pagan arrived, Kyrat was a country torn apart by a civil war between the royalists, who supported the king, and the nationalists, who wanted to overthrow the monarchy. After a bloody political coup, Pagan Min instead installed himself as the new leader of Kyrat, and immediately started to be undermined by a group known as the Golden Path. Now, in judging Min's regime, we need to consider the alternatives. The best solution for Kyrat is a democracy where people are free to do as they wish, but at the time of Far Cry 4, your two choices are Min's regime, which is heavy-handed, yes, and the Golden Path, which can go one of two ways depending on who you side with. If you side with Sabal, the Golden Path turns Kyrat into a fundamentalist theocracy, executing their former members for heresy and treason.
Sins against the gods can only be washed away with blood. There must be a cleansing for us to move forward, brother.
If you side with Amita, the Golden Path turns Kyrat into a totalitarian drug state, using child soldiers to protect their drug fields.
Please.
Uto. This is a good thing. Your children will help Kyrat become a better place. If you love Kyrat, you will turn around, go into your homes, or I will have you shot.
Both of which are worse than Pagan Min's regime. Pagan Min even realizes he shouldn't be in charge anymore. At the end of the game, he relinquishes power voluntarily and offers the Kingdom of Kyrat to protagonist AJ, knowing that you'll do a better job of ruling because you're so great.
You do realize that you're just giving away your country, right? It's yours. It's always been yours. Kyrat is yours. I pulled you off the bus in the first place to pass it on to you.
Plus, he has an excellent taste in suits. You've got to give him props for that.
There you go. Queen Firefly.
Why are you here? Business.
Set in a brutal and desperate world, The Last of Us has more shades of grey than a paint chart, with morally compromised good guys and ostensibly bad guys with a fair point.
I'm not about to kill the one man in this facility that might understand the weight of this choice.
So Marlene is about as close as the game gets to a final boss. She's the leader of the Fireflies, a resistance group searching for a cure for the cordyceps brain infection that's turning people into angry cases of athlete's foot. Hang on, have they tried just whacking some Canesten cream on it? You'd assume they have, because it turns out the mutated version of the fungus inside Ellie's brain is the only way to develop a vaccine and save all of humanity, and, regrettably, the surgeons can't operate without killing her.
Once they remove it, they'll be able to reverse engineer a vaccine.
Marlene has the extremely difficult job of giving the doctors the go-ahead to kill a teenage girl for the good of all mankind.
But whatever it is you think you're going through right now is nothing to what I have been through.
It's not like she wants to murder Ellie, it's just that when you take someone's brain out of their skull and then pop it open to scrape out all the fungus inside, they have a tendency to die.
There is no other choice here.
Meanwhile, your character Joel decides this is a bad idea, and he sure does kill a lot of other people in order to avoid killing the one person whose death would actually save humanity.
You just come after her.
I haven't felt this conflicted since they invented that delicious puppy ice cream. Well, you haven't had that.
You think you're Frankenstein, killing his own monster.
Actually, Mr. Jensen, I prefer to think of myself as deathless, watching helplessly as his child crashes into us.
Hugh Darrow from Deus Ex Human Revolution is the Nobel Prize-winning father of mechanical augmentations. He's also the guy who triggers the cataclysmic Aug event late in the game, using a software upgrade installed in most augmented people to send them into a violent rage. This causes countless deaths, widespread distrust of augmented people, and the so-called mechanical apartheid, as seen in the upcoming Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Forgive me.
Okay, yes, that looks bad, but he had his reasons, honestly. See, the original reason the software upgrade was secretly distributed to augmented people was as a means of control by the Illuminati.
When this is done, the Illuminati won't be able to control men and women like you as they had planned from the inside out.
In effect, all augmented people have been fitted with a kill switch, as you will discover yourself if you get the software upgrade. Like an idiot. With this, Darrow had seen his humanity-bettering technology perverted into another means of control by the powerful elite, and he wanted to show the world that augmentation was getting out of hand and that mankind was better off without the ability to punch through walls. Okay, there may have been a better way of doing that than by triggering an event that killed a bunch of people, and the actual outcome of anti-Aug prejudice and segregation was not what he had in mind. If he hadn't done it though, the Illuminati would have a secret augmented army of millions of brainwashed soldiers ready to do their bidding whenever they wanted.
Afraid to die, Darrow? Or just unwilling to face what you've done?
Oh, I know what I've done, believe me. I take no pleasure in it.
And yet you still did it.
I did what had to be done.
Oh my god, look at his triangle scarf! Illuminati confirmed, he was trying to warn us all along.
So those were 7 times when the bad guy kind of had a good point when you think about it, and if you sort of stretch your definition of bad guy and the things that they've done, you can really justify quite a lot of stuff. Thanks for watching this, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and there's 2 videos here that I think you'll enjoy. Well, YouTube thinks you'd enjoy this one, because that's been chosen by an algorithm, so who are you to argue with an algorithm? Definitely not the feature. And under here is actually a playlist of videos of features like this one, but not this one.
Right guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to 3302. This is where I take a look at the news and headlines here and around the news interest. Today we're going to take a look at the discovered alien signal. Shack Station may well be having a new inhabited bubble, the August Exodus, and Netflix with a new ship's VR cockpit. What appears to be an alien signal source was discovered last week by Commander Rizal. This created all sorts of commotion on the internet in regards to Elite Dangerous, and you would have seen some of that on my previous video that I went into some detail talking about it. It was also mentioned in this week's newsletter from Frontier, and it even got as far as being mentioned on the BBC News site. You can see a link to that in the video description. Canon Research, the player group looking into all things alien, have been closely investigating this particular signal, and so far it still remains a mystery. Now there's a massive forum thread detailing all the information on this, if you want to head on over there and get yourself involved in that, I'm sure you're more than welcome. You can see a link again in the video description. It's one of the most busiest threads on the forum, with a lot of people participating in trying to decode and break down this particular mystery, along with the various other alien mysteries that are out there. One other point that's worth keeping in mind is that in this week's newsletter, Frontier actually mentioned that this signal may be a key, and actually highlighted that phrase. So hopefully some more of this is going to be unravelled over the coming days and the coming weeks, and I still think before too much longer we're going to be seeing aliens in some shape within the game. Jack Station still continues to be a location of extreme interest. Frontier have confirmed that they're going to support players creating a new bubble around Jax. That means a new inhabited area of space with the ability to create new ground bases around the planets there, as well as expanded new systems and then construct new stations. How large that bubble actually eventually becomes is anyone's guess, but it's a very exciting prospect. It's a very gorgeous area of space. Now, there is currently a community goal underway to get the Jack Station repaired, and once that's complete there will be another community goal. The second community goal, rumour has it, will be a mining one, and this will determine the level of services that will be available at Jack's Station. There's also been a bit of fun going on over Reddit with a new Twitter hashtag, #MakeJaxDrunkAgain, and the people there have been trying to create a new logo or new symbol for these stations, or for Jax himself. You can see some of that on the screenshot here. This is what they've been working on. This particular image is by Commander Grimworth, and it's based on the original concept by Tange Redshirt. And just for you, Mr. Redshirt, Jax certainly is a long way from ropey, isn't it? And whilst still on the subject of Jack Station, the August Exodus got underway on the 24th of July, Sunday. And this is an event organised by the Distant Worlds group and by Eramus to get a group of people, a fleet of players, out to Jack Station. There's also a second departure date, and that's going to be on August the 15th. Both going at 7 o'clock in the evening game time. Now, if you're interested, you can go along and have a look at the thread that's in the video description below, and it's on the official forums. All the details you need are going to be there. Last week, Frontier released onto the forums some details of the player journal and some of the code and information that can be used for third-party development.